This is gonna be a good one. The idea of this entire project started a couple weeks ago when my buddy Chris, Caleb, all of us went out and Caleb caught this fish, a 46-pound gag grouper. I thought it was an awesome catch, so I went ahead and made a nice skull mount like this, and then a fish tail rub. I think it's pronounced Gyotaku, but either way, presented it to Caleb, and it turned out awesome. Now fast forward 2 weeks later, and I got to get out and fish with Jeff Groves, Triple Tail Master. Who's Jeff Groves, you might ask? Well, let me show you.
Hold up.
Okay, you get it.
He ain't ready yet, Kyle. The motor's not on, so.
Okay.
The motor's not on. If you can get it. I don't think you're gonna do that yet. Wait.
Yeah.
Not too much. Not too much. Yeah, man. It's a workout. Woo! I can smell him.
All right.
You get his head up over here. It's a gooder one. That's
Yes,
a gooder
sir.
one. Woo-wee.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind. Oh. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry.
Get your big turkey fry pot, go ahead and start filling that up with water. We're gonna slowly boil all the meat off this head. Little graphic here, but separate the head from the rest of the body. I want to do this to make sure that when I get the bones out of the pot, I know that I've just got head bones and skull mount bones, because I'm going to try to do the skull mount first, and if that turns out really great, then I'll finish with the rest of the skeleton and see if it all flows together. But you kind of want your water to be just a slight rolling boil. Again, you just want to get that meat to separate from the bone and have the cartilage break apart. As you can see here, about 15 minutes in, and it's finally starting to come apart. Now that I've got all the meat off the head, I've taken all the bones out and laid them on a cardboard plaque, as you can see here. And really, you just want to try to start finding right and left. I mean, there's 2 bones for each one. They should all match. So you want to try picking away all the meat and laying out your bones nice and easy before you put them in the bucket. All that's left here is the main part of the skull. I'm just shooting out the inner meat and the brain and all that good stuff that's still left in there in the cartilage. It is a little bit messy. It'll spray you back in the face, but you got to make sure you get all that stuff out so this thing doesn't stink when you put it back together. Now we're going to go ahead and make our soaking bucket. I used Dawn dish detergent. Dawn actually draws out all the oils that are in the bones. I'll go ahead and put that in the bucket and kind of whisk it around and get some bubbles going. And then I'm going to put half a bottle of hydrogen peroxide in this bucket. And again, this is just the skull bucket. There's another bucket that I did that includes all of the spine and the tails and all that jazz. But you kind of want to soak this stuff overnight, 24 hours at least. And go ahead and pop your bones in. After 24 hours, you're going to pull it out, let them dry for a couple hours. You're going to make another bucket. You're going to repeat this process for 3 or 4 days until your bones are super white and you got all that cartilage off, and you'll be ready to start assembling it again. So we've made it to the next day. Don't tell your wife you're using her pasta strainer to strain out bones. But you're going to go ahead and drain all your bones into the strainer. I gave them a quick rinse off. And then you just kind of want to put them out on a dry surface. Hopefully it's not raining or it's super windy. But you want these bones to dry out completely. You're going to go ahead and continue to pick away at the little bit of cartilage. And it's almost like a gelatin. You know, this may not be for everybody, but it's pretty easy. Pick away all the meat and the cartilage. And then go ahead and make sure those bones dry. Then you want to go ahead and get your buckets prepped, because you're going to repeat this process over the next 4 days. Dry, soak for 24 hours, dry, soak for 24 hours, and so on. So I'll save you the boring 4 days of cleaning, and we'll go ahead and fast forward and get into assembly. Here we are after 3 days of soaking. The skull piece actually looks really good. As you can see, the tail still got some yellowing. I'm probably going to have to put a rod through all the spine and do it piece by piece, but I'm going to go ahead and start putting the skull together and let the rest of the body soak another day or 2. Alright, so what we need to do to assemble the skull, and as you can see, one of the eyes, you know, they dry out there on the hot cement, and this is basically all cartilage. So one of the eyes is looking okay, one of the eyes is looking a little deformed. I'm gonna have to, and this is the eye socket, I'm gonna have to like basically put some water on it basically to get it soft again and bend it back when we're all done and glue it so that it looks kind of circular. But most of the bones came out really, really white. Some bones you'll see are just gonna have more oil than others. And I mean, you could soak this in acetone for several days or weeks, but eventually all of this is going to start to come a little bit yellow. You can see where the skull head is white, but there are pieces of the skull that are yellow. So you're just gonna kind of have to deal with it, because I mean, it's a freaking bone. It's gonna turn blue or turn yellow. You need a couple of these guys, and you need some baking soda. You're gonna go ahead and place a drop of glue, pop it in, sprinkle the baking soda on, and it'll instantly dry. But from my experience of doing the gag, you know, the head is like this guy, And I know that these bones go right here to create the face. So we're gonna just kind of start throwing this thing together, seeing where stuff fits, and wing it. All right, so we're about half hour in. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bones put together. That's what we got left, and we're just gonna kind of fill in this area. I mean, obviously these huge guys are gonna go right here and connect. You can kind of see where there's a bone, where does it fit versus up here, where does it fit? It's gonna kind of fit in like that, and we're gonna work it all together. But this stuff right here really helps you, because as you can see, this was glued less than 2 minutes ago, and it's already pretty solid. And I've really built up. I really built up inside there, because you're not going to see that anyways. But I really wanted a good, tight, strong bond to hold all this up. But I mean, that's supporting itself on its own weight. I wouldn't recommend doing that for too long. I'm going to end up supporting this with like a beer koozie later, so that way there's not all the weight. Because really, this is the strongest point right here, right now, where all the weight's being put on this. So about 30 minutes in there, I could probably knock the rest of these out in about an hour. We're gonna continue to go ahead and build this skull, and I'm thinking that's gonna look pretty sick going up. So normally this is where I would say, awesome. We got a really cool skeleton, it looks awesome. You got the eyes, the teeth, all the bones are in there. I would stain a board, put a rod in, drill a small hole, epoxy it in, it would stand up and you'd have a skull. Awesome. This one I'm gonna take a step further and try to do every single bone in the fish. So as you can see, you've got the spine. There's still a lot of cartilage in here, so I'm gonna actually break each individual bone off, clean the cartilage off, and then paint this rod white and run this as if it were a spinal cord through the fish so that it all kind of hangs together and I can put it back on piece by piece. This right here is just the bones from the 3 tails. And the rest of these over here, obviously these are spines. So these are gonna come off the top of the fish. I've never done a full skeleton, so I kind of found one on the internet and gonna try to duplicate what they did. It's not gonna be easy, but we're gonna try. And you know what, if I screw it all up, still got a cool skull mount. And this is probably, you won't see this part in the video. If you see this, that means it worked out all right. Stay tuned. Give me a like. So if you can tell, the skull is much whiter, cleaner than the backbone. The tail looks fine, the bones look fine, but there's just a lot of little cartilage in here that I still need to get out. So I'm gonna put some fishing line through the holes that I drilled, and I drilled a tiny little hole in every one so that I can run the rod through eventually, but I'm gonna put fishing line through to keep my order right. Put them back in a bucket. I've got a pot of water I'm boiling. I'm gonna cover it in Dawn dish soap, hit it with super hot water, drain it, hit it with super hot water again, because ultimately I need it to be that white. I don't want a discolored triple tail skeleton. All right, so based off that printout, that tail looks like it came out pretty good. I mean, it is what it is. It's roughly 40 bones glued back together. These guys, these little bones right here, are the tiny little ones right there. That's the other 2 tails. I've got some rib bones, and then I've kind of framed out the spines. So the top here this, and then the skeleton is, the spinal cord is going to go right in the middle, and these are going to be shooting up out of it. So just waiting on that bucket, waiting on this guy to dry out. Once that's done, it should all come together pretty quickly. All right, so this is day 7 of the soak on the backbone. Taking a lot longer than I thought. I mean, some of this just isn't going to come off. I'm gonna do some research, and I think I might need to go to like a beauty salon store to get the higher grade hydrogen peroxide. And we'll give it a shot next time, but I'm ready to put this guy together. Once these dry, we can assemble. So yeah, extremely gross, but I'm actually spraying the cartilage and oil out of these bones. As you can see here on my hand, it's just covered in oil from the fish. Worked out fine though. So this board is going to be the mount. Looked like that before. Took it to the shop, did some planing, did lots of sanding, got a new routed the edges so it looks nice. It looks actually like a skateboard, but we're gonna have probably 1, 2, 3 pins going up supporting the triple tail. I'm gonna either stain that or I think I'm gonna go all black, and then I'm gonna hit it with the polyurethane to make it shiny, because I think the black will contrast real nice with the white, white bones. And then here's the rod. We're gonna paint the rod black as well, wherever the touch points are on the fish. But I cut that rod just about 1.5 inches long. We're gonna start threading on the backbone, pop it in the head, get that all glued up and situated, and then I'm gonna stand it up on the mount, and then we'll go ahead and fill in the rest of the pieces and rib bones and whatnot. But final stretch, here we go. Got the rods in place. I'm still gonna have to go and repaint them because, you know, they got kind of messed up when I was cutting the holes. But all I gotta do now is I marked inside the skeleton. I'm gonna make little tiny notches into the bone so that the triple tail will rest on there. All right, that's about it for today. I got the top part done. Got to put one tail in there, one tail down here, some rib bones, and that's all we got left right there. Is a couple more bones. It's coming along real nice. Gonna air compress all this baking soda away, and should look pretty sweet when it's done. Well, got a lot of cleanup to do. The 2 side tails, I mean, fish bones are held together by cartilage, and this is held together by super glue and baking soda. So as you can see, there's some buildup where there would normally be cartilage, but I think it looks pretty good overall. Next time, I'm not gonna knock the ribs off because you can see I didn't get all the ribs. So there's a little void right there. But for my first full skeleton mount, pretty happy with how that turned out. Let's get this thing cleaned up, take some real nice pics. Hey, thanks for sticking along and watching the video with me. I had a lot of fun doing this project. It was an awesome fish, awesome catch. If this is something you'd like to learn how to do, or if you caught something really nice and you'd like a skull mount made, reach out to me, comment below. We can get in touch and I'll talk about how we can do this.